Yes or no? So there is something within you which does not like boundaries. There is something within you which is unwilling to settle for any kind of boundaries. There is something within you which is longing to be boundless. Can you become boundless through physical means? Can you become infinite through physical means? Can you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and one day say infinity? You can become endless counting, but you will not become infinite, isn't it? Can you become truly boundless and infinite through physical means? The very nature of physicality is, the physical exists only because of a defined boundary. Now this is a physical body because this is a defined boundary. If I remove this boundary, then there is no physical body, isn't it? So the very basis of physicality is a defined boundary, but there is something within you which is longing for boundlessness. There is something within you which wants to transcend the limitations of the physical. There is something within you which wants to be something more than just being physical. Right now, your whole experience of life is limited to 5 sense organs of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching. These sense organs, in the very nature of things, can perceive only that which is physical. Is that so? Can you perceive anything other than the physical? Can you see something which is not physical? Can you hear something which is not physical? Can you smell or taste or touch something which is not physical? In the very nature of things, sense organs can perceive only that which is physical. So right now, your whole experience of life is limited to the physicality of the existence. The physical has no purpose of its own. Only as a protective layer, physical means something. Physical is like the peel of the fruit. If you eat the fruit, the peel goes straight to the trash can. Right now we are sitting here, this body is very important. We have to feed this, we have to clothe this, we have to decorate this, we have to pamper this in so many ways. But tomorrow morning, that something inside this, that something which is longing to be boundless, if that something goes away, nobody wants to deal with the physical, isn't it? Only because it contains the fruit, we are interested in the peel. If the fruit is gone, nobody is interested in the peel, isn't it? Right now, when your whole experience of life is limited to 5 sense organs, your whole experience of life is limited to physicality. Unless your perception transcends the limitations of the 5 senses, you cannot transcend the limitations of the physical. Or in other words, when your whole experience of life is limited to sense perception or physicality of life, it is like you're eating the peel of the fruit. If you're just eating the peel of the fruit, how life can be? It should have been bitter. But unfortunately or fortunately, this peel, because of its association with the fruit, has imbibed a few spots of sweetness. Right now, life means somehow to extract fruit juice out of the peel. That is the effort that is going on. Somewhere, nature trusted your intelligence. If you put a drop of honey here and keep the honey jar up there, even that little ant probably which has 1/1000th of your brain, will go straight for the jar. Somewhere nature trusted your intelligence and thought if it puts little sweetness into the peel, you will naturally go for the fruit. But humanity is doing everything to prove nature wrong. They are trying to make juice out of the peel itself. If you reject the peel, you will reject the fruit also. The only way to know the fruit is to go beyond the peel, otherwise you will not know the fruit. If you want to know the sweetness of the fruit, you have to transcend the peel, you cannot reject the peel. You have to go through the peel. you cannot reject the peel. Now, your desire is essentially trying to take you to a boundless experience of life. But you have chosen physical means for expansion. Physical can be small, physical can be big, physical cannot be boundless. Right now, through the way you're handling desire is, you're driving your car, but you want to go to the moon. Somebody told you, you really gas it, you will get to the moon. Believe me, you will not go to the moon this way. You may go beyond the moon. You may crash your car and go beyond the moon, but you are not going to the moon. If you want to go to the moon, you need a different kind of vehicle. Otherwise, you're not getting there in your car, isn't it? Through physical means, you are not going to get to boundlessness. Your desire is just trying to take on an unlimited expansion of life. Today you are thinking that if I get this, I will be okay, but tomorrow you will know that if you get this, you will not be okay, you will want one more thing and one more thing. Why are you going in installments like this? If I make you the king or queen of this planet, don't look at me, hopefully, I will not make such blunders. Suppose I make you the king or queen of this planet, will you settle for good? Will you be fulfilled? You will look at the stars, isn't it? Yes? You will look at the stars. So there is something within you which is unwilling to settle for anything. It wants to find its boundless nature. So the origin of the desire, the root of the desire is in a boundless nature being identified with a limited form. When you sit here right now, if you close your eyes, please do that. If you close your eyes and I ask you, are you the body or is the body yours? If you close your eyes and keenly observe yourself, you can clearly see, oh, I am not the body. The body is mine, all right, but I am not the body. This is very clear. Is that so? If you close your eyes for a little while and look at this, you can see you are not the body. Right now you're looking at me. You're looking at me, or is your body looking at me? You are looking at me or your eyes looking at me? You are looking at me or your eyes looking at me? Through the window of your eyes, you're looking at me. If you close your eyes, do you still exist? So, you clearly know, if you close your eyes and sit here for some time, you clearly understand, I am not the body, but the body is mine, all right. But if you're walking on the street, if I come and knock you on your head, will you say, don't hit me? Or will you say, don't hit my body?
Don't hit me.
You'll say, don't hit me. So you are walking on the street as a body, you are going around the world as a body, but when you sit here with eyes closed, you can see I'm not the body. Somehow, what is me and what is my body have fallen on top of each other and gotten a little mixed up. If you look at it this way, this seems to be true. If you look at it another way, that seems to be true, isn't it? Yes? If you look at it one way, you can see I am not the body. But if you look at it in terms of your life's experience, you are the body, isn't it? So, who am I really? What is the nature of my existence? If I do not even know who I am, what I do, does it make any sense? Does it? I do not know the very nature of my existence. I do not know who I am, what I am. But I'm busy. Does it make sense? If you look at this process, you can clearly see you accumulated the body over a period of time. What you accumulate can be yours, can never be you. That's very clear. At the same time, when you're going about your life, you are the body, isn't it? You are very much the body. So these two things have somehow gotten mixed up. So if I am not the body, what am I? You know, a few years ago, you were only 3 feet tall. At that time, if I ask you, who are you will say, I am the same person. 2 years later, you were 4 feet tall. If I ask you, who are you? Same person, isn't it? Now if I ask you, who are you? Same person. 50 years later, if I meet you and ask you, who are you may be an old person, but still you say, don't you remember? Same person, isn't it? In your experience of life, when you were 3 feet, 4 feet, whatever you are right now, old person, you are still the same person, isn't it? So what is 3 feet? What is 4 feet? What is 5 feet? What is 6 feet?
Body.
Your body can be 3 feet or 4 feet or 5 feet or 6 feet. But you, that which says me, is this 3 feet or 4 feet or 5 feet? When your body was only 3 feet tall, did you fit properly into this or were you tight-fitting? Huh? Were you fitting properly or were you tight-fitting? Fitting properly? Now your body has grown this much, are you fitting properly or loose-fitting? Perfect fit? So look at you. If you put into a small body, perfect fit. Big body, perfect fit. Tall body, perfect fit. Short body, perfect fit. Whatever kind of container we put you into, you fit perfectly in. It looks like you have no shape, size, dimension to yourself. Whatever kind of container we put you in, you fit perfectly there. If something has no shape, size or dimension, where can it be? Everywhere and nowhere. Because everywhere and nowhere are not two different things. So you have no shape, no size, no dimension, you're everywhere and nowhere. Are you young or old? What can be young or old in you? Your body may be young, your body may be old. Are you young or old? Neither young nor old. If only your body is getting old, what is going to die? The body is going to die. If only body is going to die, what was born? Your body was born and your body is going to die. You are neither born, nor are you going to die. You have no shape, no size, no dimension, you're everywhere and nowhere. Someone else is like this. Who's that? God, you know. No shape, no size, no dimension, everywhere and nowhere, neither born nor is he going to die. This is boundless divinity. This boundless divine nature has now somehow gotten identified with this small little body. The moment this wrong identification with this little form happened, a whole new drama started. The very first result of this wrong identification of boundless nature with limited self, with limited body, the ego is born and the desiring process is on. Once again, the boundless nature wanting to get back to its original nature. Your desire is a spiritual process. It does not matter what you're desiring for. Whether you're desiring for money, property, pleasure, heaven, God, it doesn't matter what you're desiring for. Your desire is a spiritual process because it is seeking to become boundless. But the problem is, you are conducting it unconsciously. The problem is not of the desire, the problem is the way you're conducting the desire. It is happening unconsciously. See, if there's no desire, there's no game, isn't it? Let's say you want to play soccer. You went on the soccer field. Now you have to create a desire. That kind of a desire that you want to somehow kick this ball into that bar. It's more important than your life. As if your life depends on it, you have to go for it. Because somebody is going to such a simple desire, kicking the ball into a metal bar, such a simple desire, because somebody is going with such intensity of desire, half the world will sit up and watch a few people wanting to kick the ball. Yes? The ball came near your feet, you became philosophical. If I kick the ball into this bar, what will happen? Nothing will happen. Game is over. When you're on the football field, when you're on the soccer field, you create this desire. It's more important than your life to somehow kick this ball into the bar. 90 minutes over, roll up your desire, keep it in your pocket and walk away. Suppose you can't roll up your desire, wherever you see a bar, you want to kick something into it. That's called insanity, isn't it? Yes or no? So the problem is just this, desire is not the problem. It has become a compulsive process, that is the problem. If you conducted your desire consciously, when you feel the time is up, if you can roll it and keep it down, whatever the desire, there is no problem. But the problem is, it is no more conscious, it has become compulsive. Once it's become compulsive, it's become ugly. Anything that becomes compulsive becomes ugly, isn't it? Now you have desire to eat something. Very consciously you eat this, it's very beautiful. It tastes good, it's wonderful, it's nourishing, it's everything. Suppose it became compulsive that you have to eat, then you start eating with both your hands, it becomes obscene, isn't it? Isn't this so with every aspect of your life? Whether something is beautiful or something is obscene is just a question of whether it's conscious or compulsive. Is that all it is? So it is with your desire. If your desire is conducted consciously, whatever you may be desiring for, that's not the problem. But it's become compulsive and even the simplest things have turned ugly. Your desire is not about money, your desire is not about wealth, your desire is not about this or that. Your desire is a longing to expand into boundless nature. Your desire, the origin of your desire is that this boundless nature got identified with this limited body and this drama has started. Because it is being conducted unconsciously, it is going on in so many ways. When you were born, who were you? When you were born, who were you? Now you become many things. John, Jyoti, Lakshmi, Ramaswamy, so many things. When you were born, who were you? Baby? You didn't think I am a baby, somebody thought you're a baby. Who were you? An utter nobody, isn't it? You're just nothing. How did you become a somebody? Somebody called you, your parents called you and told you, what's your name? Your name is Ashok. Tell me what's your name? Your name is Ashok. 10 times they repeated this, that's it. Now you became Ashok. Then you went to school. When you went to school, you were a school student. You dressed like a school student, you walked like a school student, you thought like one, felt like one, you were one, isn't it? Then you became a college student. Now you dress like one, think like one, feel like one, walk like one, stand like one, you are one, isn't it? Now you become something else. You dress like one, think like one, feel like one, you are one, isn't it? Your problem is just this, you're actually a nobody. Whatever role that's given to you get stuck to it in no time, that's your problem. Yes? Whatever the role that you take up, in no time you get so badly identified with it, you think you're that. Your situation is like this. You went out to play a role in a drama. Let's say, you're playing the role of Samson or Delilah, whichever you are. You played the role well one day, people said, wow, you great as Samson, you are a great Samson, you are a great Delilah. 3 days later, after a lot of applause, you forgot that you're not the Samson. You started walking on the street like a Samson, you went to your office like a Samson, you started living with your family like a Samson. If such a thing happens to you, what should we call you? What should we call this man? Insane, mad, isn't it? Is it any different now? You're actually a nobody. Whatever role you take, you get stuck to it in no time, isn't it? Yes? Is this madness or no? Where should we send you? To the asylum? Not necessary, because you're already there. It is just that the whole society is in the same condition, so we think it's all right. In a mental asylum, if you're normal, it's a problem, isn't it? So once in a way in this society, somebody comes out really normal, he gets stoned to death, he gets crucified, he gets hanged, he gets burnt, he gets persecuted. That's all they did. Suddenly, one man with too much sanity, talking too much sense, people couldn't stand it, they had to crucify them, they had to burn them, they had to stone them, they had to poison them, isn't it? Because in a mental asylum, being sane is a crime. Right now you're sitting here, if you fall asleep, do you sleep as a somebody or a nobody? Do you sleep as a somebody or a nobody? Utter nobody, isn't it? Your neighbor pokes you with his elbow like this, again the act is on, you're a somebody. Are you really a somebody or a nobody? You are a nobody. If you want to understand this nobody, you must put a hyphen between no and body. You are a nobody. But now you become a somebody, isn't it? If you're aware of your nobodiness and you act out your somebodiness in the world, this is called enlightenment. If you've forgotten your original nature, if you've forgotten your nobodiness and become a somebody, you believe that you're a somebody, this is the basis of your ignorance. If you're a nobody, can you suffer? If you're a nobody, can there be suffering in your life? No. Only a somebody can suffer, isn't it? Are you really a somebody or a nobody? Hmm? You're really a nobody, isn't it? This body is just a heap of accumulated food that you've eaten, isn't it? This mind is a huge heap of impressions that you gathered over a period of time. You are not this body, you are not this mind. If this became your living experience, right now it is just an idea, but if this became your living experience, could any kind of suffering touch you ever? Hmm? If you have suffered, you know physical suffering, you know mental suffering. Do you know any other kind of suffering? No. So the whole process of inner engineering is to bring you to this state within yourself that if you sit here, you're distinctly aware that I am not this body, I am not this mind. There is a clear distance between what is you and what is yours. What is you and what is your body. What is you and what is your mind. Once there is a distance, once there is a space between you and your body, once there is a space between you and your mind, this is the end of suffering. You have heard of a word, Buddha? Buddha? You know Buddha? If I say Buddha, you will only think of Gautama the Buddha. Gautama is not the only Buddha. That's not his name. His name is Gautama Siddhartha. He became a Buddha. There have been thousands of Buddhas before him and there still are. Buddha means… Bhu means buddhi or the intellect. Dha means dada, one who is above. One who is above his intellect is a Buddha. One who is trapped in his intellect is a non-stop suffering human being. Because once you're into your intellect, your anxieties, your fears, your struggles, your insecurities are endless. Right now, you sit there and watch a glorious sunrise, it's wonderful, but if you turn back and see, all your anxieties, fears, problems are sitting right behind you all the time. It's like your tail, it comes with you wherever you go. Because once you are into your intellect, suffering is inevitable. Because intellect, the basic function of the intellect is to discriminate. The basic function of the intellect is to divide the world into a million parts. And with this intellect, suffering is inevitable. If you go below your mind or below your intellect, there is much less suffering. This is animal nature. Animals are not suffering like human beings. Their suffering is mostly physical. It is only a human being who is capable of suffering. The more intellectual he becomes, the more his capacity to suffer, isn't it? So if you're above your intellect, you are a Buddha. If you're in your intellect, you are a non-stop suffering human being. If you're below your intellect, what shall we call you? You're a Buddha. A Buddha will not suffer so much. A Buddha will not suffer at all. In your intellect, non-stop suffering. So this being, which was below the intellect, now slowly has evolved into the intellect. The only way out for this is to go beyond the intellect. But now, within the society, we have created so many ways to avoid suffering by going beneath the intellect. Unable to bear the torture of the intellect, people in the evening, they want to have a drink in the evening because a little bit of alcohol sort of puts them little beneath the intellect, becomes little more flexible. Initially, by evening 8 o'clock, you couldn't bear with it, you had to drink something to relax the mind. After some time, you found you need it at 6 o'clock. After some time, you find just after lunch you would need something. After some time, you find before breakfast you need a drink. Because if you artificially, chemically create an escape for yourself from the suffering of your intellect, if you beat the intellect by putting some external chemical into you, when the effect of the chemical is over, it catches up with you with renewed vigor, more suffering than ever before. So, the dosage has to go on increasing. After some time, you can't do without it 24 hours of the day. Alcohol, excessive eating, excessive indulgence in physical pleasures, all these are different ways to somehow go below the intellect for a period of time to escape the torture of the intellect. This intellect is not torture, this intellect is a miracle, but it's become torture because we have not found how to operate this. We have not understood how to make this happen. We are operating such a sophisticated instrument accidentally, so it's become torturous. So being a Buddha does not mean that you become a Buddhist. Buddha means somebody who is above the intellect. Only if you're above the intellect, you can use the body and the mind to its fullest. You can understand the nature of your mind and your body only if you have a little space from it. See, for example, human beings have been living on this planet for such a long time. Scientists say millions of years. In all these years, we couldn't figure out whether this planet is round or flat. Leave all the nonsense you studied in your textbook. Just walk up and down this hall and tell me, is your planet round or flat? Is it round or flat?
Flat.
In your experience, it's still flat, isn't it? This argument would have continued forever. But then, we learned to fly. We took off from the planet a little distance and we looked down. Oh, it was for sure round. Then we went up to the moon and looked down. Now there is no doubt at all, it is round. But if we were stuck to the planet, we would be still arguing whether it's round or flat. Endless argument would have continued, because to understand the nature of something, you need a little distance. If you want to know the mechanics of the body, if you want to understand the mechanics of the mind, you need a little distance. If this distance arises, there is no fear of suffering. Once there is no fear of suffering, then you explore life in its fullest depth and dimension. Only if you explore this body and this mind, the intrinsic nature of what this is, only then you're empowered to explore the life around you, isn't it? Yes?
Yes.
If you're afraid to explore this, or if you have no means to explore this, can you explore the cosmos? Because the only instrument which is the basis of your experience is this human mechanism, isn't it? You have no other way to experience anything in this existence. This is the only way. The more you know about it, the better you can use it. Is that so? Is that true with every instrument that you use? The more you know about it, the better you can use it. The deeper is your knowledge about this one, the better you can employ this. The deeper your knowledge about this, the more empowered you are to go through the process of life.